didn't start photographing until after college.
I saw this wooden Deerdorf camera, and I fell in love with this camera, and I guess I kind of fell in love with the myth of the photographer, and I bought that camera.
Perfect. Then after I left college and I came here to Santa Fe to work for Outward Bound, they sent me to Nepal to run their trekking program.
I was being paid to guide, and then I would segue different festivals and events to photograph, and it enabled me to build up a portfolio. Right now we're at the Verb Gallery in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I'm having my first retrospective show, 25 years. This is a real seminal image. I almost didn't get it because I was on my way down to the airplane after being up in the mountains for a while. And then through the fog, there were these porters coming up through the mist carrying these pots to the market I had just passed by. Suddenly I went, wait a minute, this is the most beautiful thing of the entire trip. So I had to run back up the mountain, take out my cameras, compose myself, and photograph. And when I got home, and I was looking at these images, and I saw this one, it was the mystery, it was the feeling of I felt like I was in Nepal, and I went, oh my gosh, I think I can become a photographer.
Individuals are fascinating to me, and individuals who live in very difficult, what we consider difficult type of environments, even fascinate me more because the personalities to me become very acute. And so when I'm traveling and meeting people, I am looking for the person that I resonate with. The challenge of photographing people is great because I have a social challenge, I've got the cultural challenge, I have to be aware of so much, and I love that challenge. And it's about me, because in order to photograph other people, I have to understand myself really well. So I've got to feel comfortable going into that zone of intimacy. And then I get the image that is about them.
This is the most current image in the show, and it was taken in Mongolia. And I was at a festival, and while we were there photographing, I had the idea as payback that I would do portraits of the elders, and then I'd bring them back the next year. So I made a little studio with just a little natural light and a little pop of flash. Then when I got home and I was printing out these images, I looked at them, I went, these are the most remarkable portraits of people who are completely unaffected. They were so completely themselves, not trying to be somebody they weren't. They were actually trying to be everything they were. And when I was looking at these portraits, every single one of them was wonderful. So I couldn't choose, so I decided, well, I'm just going to put them all together.
I'm not trying to document everything that I see. What I'm looking for is the image that, gives me my sensory input. Because when you're traveling, it's an assault of senses. So what I want in an image is one where somebody can almost smell or hear or feel the motion or balance or whatever.
This was on one of the 4 trips that I did to the Pamir Mountains in western China. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I was at a wedding ceremony.
And after the wedding ceremony, the men went out to this big field to play this horse polo. And at first I was photographing from the sidelines. And then I went, I'll just stand on that rock in the middle of the field. So suddenly the horses are all coming by me, but it made for that powerful picture. I think photography is a real right brain, left brain endeavor, that you have to be technically oriented. I have to know how the camera works. I have to know how the lenses work. But it's not only that. My brain has to become the camera, and then it also has to become the lens. And that's why I'll make a decision very quickly as to what lens do I want, what optical perspective do I want? Do I want that wide angle, airy feeling, or do I want that telephoto compressed feeling? These are all creative choices. First of all, I'm going to import the images. I usually always take a computer with me when I'm traveling. So I'll go back to wherever I'm staying and pull out the computer. I use Lightroom for my editing. For printing, I work with Photoshop. So I'll download and import the images into Lightroom and do a real quick edit and scan. It keeps me on the photography. I think I'm still getting better. Anybody who has a camera is going to take a great picture sometime in their life. But what we're all aiming for is to be consistent and to be a virtuoso. One of the basic differences between an amateur and a pro is that I photograph more. I'm faster, I think, in the moment. So I'm going to consistently get closer to the images I like, but then also my standards for what I want get higher and higher and higher. So experimentation is a very big part for me. That's why I like to work in low light. So I like to hand hold. I want to try to push those edges so that I can get an image that is different. I don't want it just to be staid and normal and straight on in regular everyday life. I want the one that makes me go, wow.